Golden Horde, the state of Jochi. In times gone by, 750 years ago, the state of the Golden Horde arose in the vast expanses of Eurasia. It was called Ulu Ulus, or the state of Jochi, after the name of Jochi Khan, the eldest son of Genghis Khan. Mongolian warriors were ready to engage in a battle at the word of his commander. What was it that supported the Mongolian warrior, helping him not to lose his moral courage and not to panic or become fearful? Scientists still carry on scientific disputes on this issue. Of course, the people were looking for protection from higher powers. What gods did the soldiers of the Golden Horde pray to? What did they believe in? And who did they worship? You are going to find out all about this in our program. Rites, customs, and beliefs. At a time when the Mongolian state was nomadic and cities had not yet been erected, the main religion of the Mongols was Tengrianism. From the great Khan to the simple nomad, everyone worshipped the great sky, Tengri, and Mother Nature, the goddess Umai. In the religion of the ancient Mongols, the cult of totems was of great importance. They believed that everything that surrounded them had a soul. Hunting and raising livestock, nomads were inextricably linked with animals. Some of them they revered and deified. Each tribe believed that it originated from a certain type of animal or plant. The most ancient religion of the Mongols was Shamanism. Gestures, spells, and rituals played an important part not only in their everyday life, but also when warriors were preparing for battle. Before engaging in a battle with the enemy, the shamans always sacrificed animals and performed special rituals to invoke the power of Tengri. Shamans took their tambourines in their hands, rhythmic blows introduced them into a trance, and the sounds of trumpets and horns instilled determination and courage in the soldiers. The military leaders not only watched and led their troops, they also were endowed with a special status, like shaman, and they acted as intermediaries between heaven and their soldiers. There is no doubt that the Mongol warriors also honored and worshipped the Sulde, which is the harsh god of war. The cruel god demanded sacrifices during the sanguinary battles. Mongols believed that the whole world had a soul. Everything that surrounds us, forests, fields and mountains, rivers, lakes, trees and even stones, are inhabited by spirits. They could help a person if they were asked to do so. Man is a part of this world, but before a person acquires the power that will help him communicate with spirits, he must undergo a rite of passage. The ceremony can last for several months to several years, and after its completion, a person becomes a shaman. The shaman is a living person, but also his staff, tambourine, and costume are living beings as well. With their help, the shamans turn to the world of the spirits, and through them, the spirits possess the shaman. The shamans believed heaven to be the habitation of the great gods. The creator of everything is the eternal blue sky. The shamans had no temples. They performed their rituals in the open air. The staff is one of the main magic items of a shaman. It was usually made of wood. The staff is adorned by a hankinur, called bells and jingles. Using it, the shaman was able to go to other worlds and travel through them. To do this, he must enter into a certain state, which is called a shamanistic ritual. The shaman's tambourine is more than just a musical instrument. For him, it is also a mount, a deer or horse, on which the shaman is transported to the world of the spirits. As a rule, the shaman always had several tambourines in his life, but not at the same time, only one after the other. As soon as the shaman status would change, he would ascend to a higher level. At that moment, he was supposed to make a new tambourine. Each tambourine underwent a rite of revival. After the death of the shaman, the tambourine was never inherited by anyone. It is believed that the power of the shaman does not die with him, but remains to live, enclosed in his tambourine. The Mongols believed that each valley and every mountain had their own spirit or master, in Mongolian, sabdik. Each place was a living body. The surrounding water bodies, mountain ranges, and forests were protected by the master, the spirit of the area. The names of the spirits of the most revered and sacred sites were kept secret. The Mongols also deified the steppe, and believed that this was the body of the goddess Etugyen. One was not allowed to hurt her by plowing the land. Rites and beliefs of the Golden Horde. A shaman named Tibu proclaimed Temujin to be the representative of the god Tengri on Earth. He was able to convince the Mongols that Genghis Khan was destined to gather all the nomadic tribes and conquer everything that lies before his eyes for them. A special sacrifice was made to the god Tengri during military campaigns. The smoke from the conflagrations was supposed to delight him. For this, the god would give the warriors victory in their battles. Yerlik Khan was what shamans called the lord of the underworld. He was the main deity of the lower world. The Mongols did not bury the dead in the ground and did not perform the rite of burying. They left the bodies to be eaten by dogs, birds, and insects. Mongol shamans could be both men and women. It was believed that they could enter into a spiritual relation with heaven and earth, as well as with the souls of the dead, both people and animals. The eternal blue sky in Tengrianism is considered the highest creation. It contains 99 heavens, 55 of which help humans, while 45 create trouble and evil. The Mongol nomads were pagans and worshipped idols, carrying them on their carts. Some of them worshipped every animal they met along the way. The entire universe was divided into upper, middle, and lower worlds. This is what the shamans believed. Upper and lower worlds are inhabited by spirits. People, animal, and birds lived in the middle world. Shamans collected ritual plants for various rituals and ceremonies, and for the treatment of diseases and ailments. Usually they were harvested in late summer or early autumn, when the plants were in full vitality. The various parts of the plants were always taken from the east side. It was believed that they had healing powers that they had received from the rays of the rising sun. The shamans collected plant roots, berries, stems, and leaves. They poured the herbs that they needed into a special ritual mortar. Saying the necessary prayers, the shamans grinded them, blending them together. Thus they liberated the vital essence of the plant and obtained a ritual mixture. The ancient Mongols believed that the universe was ruled by Tengri Khan, the supreme deity, and other deities. The spirits helped God to do important things on the earth. They were responsible for various natural elements and phenomena. The main ones were Yersub, Umai, and Yerlik. God Tengri distributed the terms of life, and Umai was in charge of the birth of people. The spirit of the underworld was Yerlik, and people after death went to him. Deity Yersub was responsible for land and water. Possessing a powerful cleansing power, water helped in carrying out the rituals. It drove away evil spirits and cleansed spaces and people. The spirits needed to be fed regularly, although they did not have a body. Most often, to feed the spirits, the shamans collected water, to which they added butter or milk. Then they would make a special fire, and would ask the spirit of fire to come and accept the offering. The bark or branch of a tree was set on fire, and the gifts were fumigated with smoke. The shaman would immerse a burning tree into the water with milk. This is how the spirit of fire was fed. In the flame, the shaman could see the past and the future. At the beginning of the 14th century, Uzbek Khan ascended to the throne of the Golden Horde. In the context of tough rivalry for power, he accepted Islam as the official state religion. Islamic culture of the Golden Horde. During the reign of Birki Khan, the first mosques were built in the Golden Horde. He was the first Mongol ruler to convert to Islam. Birki Khan was the fifth ruler of the Golden Horde, the son of Jochi, and the grandson of Genghis Khan. Uzbek Khan converted to Islam only 8 years after he became the supreme ruler of the Horde. Jibek, the son of Uzbek Khan, also made a great contribution to the development of Muslim culture. During his reign, the works were created for Islamic philosophical and scientific knowledge. The Bazaars Mosque was built in 1288. It has survived to this day, and it was named after the Sultan of Egypt, who donated funds for the construction of the mosque. Ribat is a fortified structure where ascetic warriors lived. They are dedicated to the protection and the expansion of the boundaries of Islam. Zavi is an institution that was built in the cities of the Golden Horde. It was a home for itinerant dervishes and pilgrims performing the Hajj. Here, travelers were offered shelter and food. Paganism remained among the nomads up to the 15th century. Even 100 years after Islam was adopted in the Golden Horde, shamans and the cult of ancestors continued to exist in the steppe settlements. Many words that were in common use during the time of the Golden Horde have survived to this day. The word label is derived from the Mongolian language, which means announcement. Labels in the Golden Hordes were written on a sheet of paper about 20 centimeters wide and up to 1.5 meters long. They were written in black ink. They were issued to the Khans and princes who were allowed to rule. In our everyday speech, they are used to designate a sticker or a mark. A cart is a four-wheeled freight carriage into which a horse was usually harnessed, and less often buffaloes, mules, and oxen. Traditionally, carts were made of wood. The carrying capacity of carts was up to 750 kilograms. The word sword in Mongolian sounds like mes, and is translated as a cold arm. The Mongolians called the straight double-edged sword ulu. The usual length of such a weapon was up to 100 centimeters, 20 centimeters of which was the handle. The sword was equally suited for slashing and thrusting. The word money in Russian, translated as dengi, is derived from the Mongolian word dinga. During the period of the Golden Horde, small silver coins appeared with the Arabic inscription of money, which means ringing. Sirga or sirga, from the Mongolian word of ring, are earrings of the Golden Horde, which were most common adornments. They were worn by both men and women. They were worn by ordinary warriors, military leaders, and the Khan himself. Earrings were made of metal wires, usually of bronze or silver, and much less often they were also made of copper or gold. The kabluk is called a high heel. This is the part of the shoe that raises the heel above the toe. The shoe's heel appeared in the late Middle Ages. The word is probably borrowed from the Mongolian word kabluk, which comes from the Arabic kab or heel. Bashmaks are men's shoes made of leather. It is believed that the word bashmak or shoe came from the Mongolian language, in which bashmak meant foot. Lapsha, or noodles, are narrow strips of thin unleavened dough made from wheat flour. The noodles are boiled in salted boiling water. The word lapsha, or noodles, is borrowed from the Mongolian laksa, which are small pieces of dough boiled in broth. The word sanduk, or chest, is derived from the Arabic language of box, sanduk, and the Mongols adopted this word. In the Golden Horde, this is what they called the chest in which the jewelry is kept. Later, it became the main and universal piece of furniture. Halat, or robe, in our days is a favorite homewear. In the Golden Horde, robes were worn as outerwear. A thin and long robe protected the body from the sun's rays during the day and from the cold at night. The word came to us from the Mongolian hilat, or kaftan, and they adopted it from the Arabic language, hila, and that was the name of an honorable dress. Goods and trade. Like any Eastern country, the Golden Horde was also a country of trade, a country of merchants, and the largest center of international trade. Here one could find everything, from silk and spices, to weapons and precious stones. There was a caravan trade on camels and horses, a sea trade across the Caspian and the Black Sea. What goods did these merchants of the Golden Horde sell at the Bazaars? How did the townspeople pay when buying things that they needed? How much could you buy a bag of rice or a camel for? You will learn about this in our next program.